This is Campus News, reporting the top stories from colleges and universities.
Next on Campus News,
MSUM students come together to solve a mysterious murder in a night of fun and games.
listen to the historical broadcasting voice behind MSU Moorhead football and basketball teams.
Deadly diseases. See how NDSU researchers are tackling a tough type of cancer.
But first, tragedy sparks controversy about how and who should protect students in schools.
Good morning and welcome to Campus News. I'm Benjamin Reiki.
And I'm Hannah Norton. The debate about arming teachers is going on across the nation after a high school shooting in Parkland, Florida that left 17 people dead.
I spoke with students and faculty at MSU Moorhead School of Teaching and Learning to see how teachers new and experienced feel about bringing guns into the classroom. It's every teacher's nightmare. A gunman in the classroom. For some, the solution is simple.
So this crazy man who walked in wouldn't even know who it is that has it. That's good. It's not bad, that's good. And a teacher would have shot the hell out of him before he knew what happened.
Associate Professor Brian Smith trains aspiring teachers at MSU Moorhead School of Teaching and Learning. Although the topic isn't brought up in the classroom, he does have strong feelings on the matter.
It's one of the most ludicrous ideas I've probably ever heard in my life, okay? On so many levels. It is the stupidest idea ever.
A teacher of educational psychology at work and a hunter in his spare time, Smith understands both teachers and firearms and says putting guns in the classroom causes more problems than it solves.
This is just a logistical nightmare. Are they going to have a gun, a six-shooter on their hip? Every time you introduce a gun, a lethal weapon, to a situation, there becomes an opportunity to use the lethal force.
Smith students know they may one day have to protect their own classroom, but have different ideas about how to do it.
I don't know, if I was a teacher, I would want to know how, I would want self-defense. I want to know how to protect my students to the greatest ability, but I don't know if that necessarily means giving me a gun.
I don't think a lot of teachers are ready to carry a weapon, but those that want to, they should be able to. They should get the training that they want to protect their students in their class.
For those who want to arm teachers in classrooms, Smith has one question.
Are you willing to shoot a student who has gone rogue like that? Are you willing to level a gun and shoot a student?
If they're putting other lives at risk, if they're an active threat in the school, yeah. It's threatening lives of innocent others.
In the end, Smith says there are two things he thinks can help.
The argument that there has to be some greater investment in mental health, absolutely. Absolutely. But for the love of all that is holy, take the weapon out of their hands. Take the opportunity away.
While the discussion of arming teachers is ongoing, MSUM already has a plan if an active shooter comes to campus.
Run, hide, fight.
Is an FBI training video sent out to students and faculty at the beginning of each semester. The video guides viewers through what they should do in an active shooter situation. First, students should run away if they think they can escape. If escape isn't an option, they should hide wherever is safest and barricade themselves until help arrives. If worse comes to worse, it's time to fight.
A lot of it comes down to that personal responsibility and what you would be willing to do in that situation, because the reality is that you are the help until help arrives.
Harla recommends students and faculty go online and sign up for the Dragon Alert notification system to get warnings about emergencies at MSUM.
Winter weather is a fact of life when living in the Red River Valley, and most students at local colleges take it in its stride, especially those who have grown up in the area. But what about those who are not accustomed to these wintry conditions? Reporter Mary Jo Vick explored the campus of MSUM to see how international students are faring with the changes in weather.
MSUM extends a warm welcome to international students, but they have to find a way to cope with the cold.
I'll never get used to it because but since I don't go outside that often, like the only time I go outside is just commuting to the school or just walks through the building, so it's not that bad.
When I was here, it was so fall, so it was just like the back home weather. And then after like 3 months in the November, it started to snow crazy.
When I was waiting for a bus, I think because of the harsh weather, the bus delayed. So I ended up waiting the bus stop for about half an hour, and I feel my ear, my legs were really painful. Yeah.
First time that I started driving in the snow was one of the biggest challenges of my life. I remember those fishtails every time. You to get like more patient when you're on the roads in this place, in this weather, so I guess it's a good practice.
Many of these students will be going home in a few months in order to thaw out from these freezing Minnesota conditions. Mary Jo Vick, Campus News.
For some of these students, this may be their coldest winter, but experts say this is an average winter for the region. For the first time in its over 300-year history, a woman will lead the College of William and Mary. The Virginia College named Catherine Rowe its 28th president. Rowe is currently serving as provost of Smith College in Massachusetts. She has held that position since 2014. Rowe will take over current President W. Taylor Reveille, who is retiring in June. She will start serving as president on July 1st.
Future Dragons had a chance to see what MSUM is all about, thanks to preview days. High school students gathered at the Comstock Memorial Union to learn what MSUM has to offer them as they prepare to wrap up their high school experience and head off to college. High schoolers heard from students and administrators about what the university can offer them. MSUM Director of Undergraduate Admissions, Tom Rayburn, says the freshman class enrollment is up 2.5% from last year.
With the undergraduate office here, we've been able to really focus on and take a look at that over the last couple years. The last 2 years where we've seen consistent growth in those new incoming freshmen have been from doing things like focusing on specific regions and areas and really promoting MSUM in a positive way that gains feedback.
While freshman enrollment is up, undergraduate enrollment at MSUM is down by 1%.
Missouri State University students and faculty are feeling the impact of an $8 million budget shortfall. The school is trying to solve the multi-million-dollar deficit by raising tuition and fees and cutting faculty. The school's new budget proposal will cut 32 staff positions within the school. The budget will also increase tuition rates on all students across the board. The school says the tuition hike will generate $2.5 million. The school would also put in place new fees for students. The cuts are in response to a $70 million cut to higher education from the state legislature. The USDA says that Americans throw away 40% of their food every day.
For Fargo Moorhead students, meals may not be the only thing going to waste.
Kesey Commons at MSUM is home to an all-you-can-eat buffet-style cafeteria. Musei Amanolayako believes this abundance of food can lead to lots being thrown away.
By the end of the time when we're working, we usually throw away full garbage of food. And I mean, it's sad.
Musei says eating at a buffet carries a big responsibility.
You can go get however like 4 or 5 plates of food and you might not even get the chance to finish it. You have no obligation, nobody's there to tell you anything.
MSUM has 300 to 400 pounds of food waste every day. Some students see this waste firsthand.
You can definitely see people with a mountain of food, like eat a little bit of it and they just take it immediately over to the carousel. And it's like, well, that's food that no one's gonna eat now.
For students in the Fargo Moorhead area, food in the garbage means money down the drain. According to some, the blame goes both ways.
It's us and it's our students, you know. So if you're wanting to taste something and I don't know if I'm gonna like this pork or can I try a taste? And we have to be better at saying, please ask for a taste or please ask for a taste of the sauce so we just don't throw away the whole plate.
With photographer Anthony Fridgen, Ben Blanchard, Campus News.
Ben will be stopping by Concordia College in an upcoming edition of Campus News to talk about its new program, Taste, Not Waste. Not everyone chooses a major they can easily find a job in after graduating. Some, instead, choose a passion. The U.S. Census Bureau released a list of majors they say students have the hardest time finding a job in after college. Composition and rhetoric, environmental science, and anthropology and archaeology were listed in the top 3. MSUM is helping students prepare themselves for life after college.
With anthropology, it's very much so you're in the ditches, or in my case, archaeology. I'm always digging up, like I'm physically there, so it's not just researching, reading papers, it's kind of a mixture of things.
Over 800 MSUM students will be graduating this spring. Some of them will go on to get more education, and many will also be looking for jobs.
It all started freshman year of college with no expectations of a future. But I found out how 2 young MSUM students have built a business of their own from the ground up. Let's Watch Media takes pride in the moments that are snatched behind the lens, providing their clients with exactly what they want.
It's amazing how you can grab a lens and capture videos and make it however you want it. And that's the whole goal. You know, we like capturing things that turns to an art form that will last forever for our clients.
From starting out as a fun hobby,
we didn't want to get paid,
to now creating a name for themselves, the progress that Let's Watch Media has made is a real dream.
We were just going to be a videography company. Now we're a whole marketing company. We do everything, you know, whether it's ads, you know, we do it all. So that's a cool thing. It's like seeing how far we've come.
Now with a team of 6 guys, they not only work together, but are close friends.
Working with my friends is awesome. Sometimes it is hard to stay focused, make sure that we are moving forward, not taking a step back.
We work hard and we play hard. That's the biggest thing.
Let's Watch Media, a business climbing the ladder of success through a lens and thrifty editing.
The biggest thing we believe is capturing the moment, whether it's big, whether it's small, just capture it. And you don't know how it's going to turn out, but at the end, something beautiful happens.
With photographer Brandon Larson, Hannah Norton, Campus News. Let's Watch Media has been in business for 2 years now. An unusual rivalry is growing between 2 California colleges. The 2 schools in Northern California are competing for the largest growing tree on a college campus. Humboldt State University claims to have the tallest tree on college campus with its 240-foot tall Sitka spruce. It stands 2 feet above the College of the Redwoods' 238-foot tall Sitka spruce. But last year, College of the Redwoods claimed their Sitka spruce as the world's largest tree by diameter on a college campus. Since there are no official rules or judges, the competition is all in good fun. 20 years ago, being diagnosed with cancer was usually a death sentence. But now scientists all over the world have made a great strides in the field of cancer research.
Photojournalist Branson Reeser brings us to NDSU for a closer look at one of the more deadly types of cancer.
They're the cancer cells.
We're now at about an 8% survival rate for pancreatic cancer. And when we say survival rate, it's a 5-year survival rate. So from the time that you're diagnosed, 5 years later, 8% of people that got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer will be alive. I'm a cancer researcher here at NDSU. I've been here about 8 years. My lab mostly focuses on lung and pancreatic cancer. You know, survival rates for most of the cancers have gone up tremendously in the last 20-25 years. Unfortunately, we're not seeing that with pancreatic cancer, which is why we're focused on it here at NDSU. Like in a flask like that, there are probably about 5 million cells that were growing in there. So as a huge team, we're trying to tackle just ways to earlier diagnose it and then better ways to treat it.
So this is a cell imager. A lot. So we're looking at the live cell section right now. They're growing on the plastic. A lot of people focus on how to kill these cancer cells, right? But that's not all about it. Now we know with the Dr. Kay Reynolds, she's doing amazing pancreatic cancer research. I'm so glad I joined here and I get to work with her.
Even as we look at, new treatments, there are some cancers that we have kind of cured. I mean, if we look at like some of the leukemia, lymphomas, we've done a much better job of figuring out what causes cancer. And so certainly quitting smoking is probably the best thing you could do for your health.
According to the American Cancer Society, over 55,000 people will be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer this year.
Another year, another art competition. Reporter Pony White brings us to the Roland Dill Center for the Arts, where 20 students were selected from over 100 artists who sent in their work for the annual MSUM Student Juried Showcase.
The collaboration of color, culture, and music
is the start of a celebration. In the Roland Dill Center for Arts Gallery, MSUM students and faculty come to celebrate the creations made by students and award a few lucky artists like studio art major Ryan Rusk.
Made like a bunch of hand paintings and drawings, and I don't know, I thought this one would just be really fun to kind of play with like the smoke and make sort of a atmospheric kind of background.
Ryan Rusk believes that getting the opportunity to showcase his work is
really awesome. Like the program here is really amazing. Like the professors are all really good at what they do.
Another student who is able to exhibit their work is art education major Hannah Morkey.
It's been super exciting because I didn't know if I was going to get a piece in the show or not.
Morkey's pattern piece, What's the Difference, started off as an artist's mistake, but she managed to quickly turn it into a brain teaser.
Think about it. This.
Yeah!
And then it kind of plays with people's minds, like, is there a difference? Because there actually is a small difference in one of the prints.
Oh, I love it. With photographer Shay Dolly, Pony White, Campus News.
The Center for the Arts will give students 2 more chances to show off their art with exhibitions in March and April.
The Whiffenpoofs, Yale's oldest all-male a cappella group, is making history by adding its first female member. The Whiffenpoofs chose junior Sophia Campamore as the first woman ever to join the singing group since its founding in 1909. The a cappella group voted not to admit women in 2016, but a record number of women auditioned for the group despite the vote. Whiffenpoof alumni member David Code tried to allow women into the group 30 years ago, but was denied. Code says he is thrilled that it is finally happening. At the end of a tiring day of class, students often unwind with crafts and music.
Reporter Melissa Gonzalez goes down to one of MSUM's student spaces to see a growing pastime with college crafters.
Ultimate Pinterest meant boxes of crayons, paint, and ribbon for students who came to this night out.
Pinterest-related crafts like clock making, pillowcase decorating.
Raul Garcia and Cheyenne Lundy have their first experience with the Dragon Entertainment Group.
Okay, I got everything that I need. You good? With my friend Cheyenne. She's like, I always wanted to go to this Pinterest thing because we're making clocks and we're going to do arts and crafts. And I just thought, why not? Let's do it.
Pinterest night was a new experience for them, and one they enjoyed more than they expected.
The music, it's really pumpy, it's getting you in that vibe to want to do a lot of arts and crafts. I mean, they have snacks even.
It's really nice being here. I enjoy it more than I thought I would, I guess, because I was really nervous coming in here, and it's actually kind of a really nice environment, friendly and safe, and so.
And Ultimate Pinterest has been popular with the Dragon Entertainment Group.
It's been pretty frequent for the last 2.5 years.
And as you can see, students have a variety of supplies they can choose from when making their crafts.
Anything for anyone who's interested in any crafting.
I mean, I think it's cool because I go on there for sports stuff and music. I like to DJ in my spare time when I can.
And by the end of the night, these two friends will have a couple of clocks ready to take home. With photographer Peyton Mark, Melissa Gonzalez, Campus News.
The Dragon Entertainment Group has a full schedule of events in March and the rest of the semester. And now we turn it over to Tyler Ziegler for a look at this week's sports. Tyler, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. You guys have a Pinterest? I have a Pinterest, but I mostly just put pictures of my cat up there.
I'm always on Pinterest.
I don't got one.
A sex scandal has stripped the Louisville basketball team of its 2013 national championship. The punishment comes after discovering that former director of basketball operations, Andre McGee, provided prostitutes and strippers for his players and recruits. The Kentucky University appealed the decision, but was denied. Louisville will also have 123 wins, stripped from the 2012 and 15 seasons. This is the first time a basketball program has been stripped of its national title in NCAA history. For the last 21 years, the same voice has been heard broadcasting MSU Moorhead football and basketball games. Beginning on the radio before transitioning to TV, the East Coast native says he's thoroughly enjoyed his time with the Dragons. Reporter Aaron Simmons took a trip to Nemzek Hall during the NSIC women's basketball tournament to meet the man behind the mic.
With John Webking and Jared Bledsoe, I am merely Steve DeStatio,
at Alex Nemzik Hall in Moorhead, watching some NSIC first-round action between Southwest Minnesota State and the Dragons. The men, I've always liked broadcasters, watching broadcasters and thinking, that's something I might want to do. Baravich, the energy, Zelensky. I think if Drew Stennis would have turned around, she would have seen an open Maddie Green under the basket. I had a pretty cushy job with the federal government and then moved out here and found out that MSUM didn't have radio and just pursued it. And everybody will tell you got really, really lucky. Fetch the rebound. They're looking for Maddie Green down low, but Apuka Koi is doing a terrific job fronting her, but it doesn't matter when Drew Stennis does stuff like that. Every time I watch TV, before I was on TV, I would go, okay, what would I do in this situation? So I thought it became a pretty seamless transition, and I like the television better. Stelter, that bomb did not hit the bunker it was intended for. When John Webking hired Jared, he said, hey, you want to work with Jared Bledsoe? It's like, are you kidding me? And he was the first Dragon to ever cry on my shoulders. And we just have a blast. It's not work. It's really is 2 hours of fun doing a game. Here's Sanis and Zelensky. No. Fetch, good if it goes!
The game Distachio was calling was won by MSUM. After losing a quarterfinal game against the University of Sioux Falls, the Dragons are hoping for an at-large berth in the NCAA tournament. Distachio travels with the team for every playoff game. Colleges in Mexico will now apply for membership within the NCAA Division II. When being considered, the colleges must meet staff and facility requirements. There's a 3-year provisional period before a college can join. Officials of the NCAA Division II hope Mexico can bring not only diversity, but competitiveness and schedule flexibility as well. In 2008, Division II started accepting Canadian schools, but Simon Fraser in Vancouver is the only Canadian addition so far. Many former and current hockey players from the University of Minnesota and the University of Minnesota Duluth were on the ice representing Team USA for the Women's Olympic Hockey Team, who won gold for the first time in 20 years. Among these standouts are 20-year-old goaltender from UMD Maddie Rooney and 2 former Gopher players, Gigi Marvin and Amanda Kessel. These 3 played a key role in winning the gold medal game. Marvin and Kessel scored the first 2 goals for Team USA, while Rooney made the game-winning save in a 6-round shootout. The final score was 3-2 against the Canadians. Team Canada also has 3 UMD players representing their country. One NDSU student is balancing being a student and a professional athlete. Not only is he a professional athlete, but he's also earned the title of world champion. Reporter Hannah Norton catches up with this big-time winner.
Still fresh off from his victory at the 55th Annual World Championship Snowmobile Derby, Blaine Stevenson is soaking it all in.
That race was just complete chaos. It's just a huge deal.
His girlfriend Alexis Kerslake was there in support for Stevenson and even got to take a victory lap with him moments after he crossed the finish line.
That was really fun. He was able to scoop me up and take me around the track, and it was very cool.
Stevenson knew since he was 8 years old he wanted to be a pro snowmobile racer.
A pro is quite the deal.
Being alongside him, Kerslake knew Stevenson's biggest dreams, and she got to witness him live it.
You're like, oh my God, this is what Blaine has always talked about, always dreamed about, always, wanted.
Being a world champion didn't seem possible nearly a year ago when in one of his races, Stevenson got in a serious crash.
I sustained a traumatic brain injury. It included some brain bleeding, and it's just spent 5 or 6 days in the hospital. Lost a little bit of memory for a while, and I still don't remember a lot of it.
Stevenson was out for an entire year of recovery. During his time off, Stevenson knew that he was going to get back on the sled, ready for a comeback.
Right out of the hospital, I was like, oh yeah, we're going racing. There's no question. I'd definitely like to go back and win more world championships.
With photographer Brandon Larson, Hannah Norton, Campus News Sports.
Stevenson is on track to graduate with an agriculture economics degree this May. Guys, you got those spring break bodies ready? It's in 2 days from now.
That is not nearly enough time.
Never is.
Thanks, Tyler.
It's not every night the average person gets to solve a crime.
As reporter Zach Vinny tells us, MSUM students were recently asked to help find a murderer.
A grisly murder occurred on campus last night. Security brought in the best 2 cops on the force to figure out who done it. Students came out to the CMU to help solve the murder of the Tooth Fairy.
Somebody in this room committed a murder.
Assuming the identities of celebrities,
wow, this is a celebrity party.
Students became a part of the plot of this highly improvised show.
They were awesome. They were super into it, having a great time. Who is this? Who are you? When people are willing to jump up, just have fun, that makes it super fun for us.
Did you kill the Tooth Fairy? No. See, I didn't think he would.
This wasn't your average performance.
You were like, hey, I want you to look for a clue. Where would you tell them to look?
Under their chair.
Oh my God.
They looked for clues.
You guys were both hiding this evidence.
Did a little dance, and played a giant game of rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot!
The best thing you can ever do in improv is make a mistake, 'cause that's where the diamonds are. And that's what makes it different than other kinds of performances.
Very important you figure out not just the crime, but a reason why we did this crime. Not we. Why this crime was committed, okay? Not me. I didn't do it. I'm a cool guy.
After the mystery was solved and the case was closed, students were left with a wonderful impression of the killer performance.
Really good crime then.
While the identity of the murderer is known to those who attended the event, the secret has to be kept for future audience members. With photographer Leah Backstrom, Zach Vinny, Campus News.
The Dragon Entertainment Group organized the event, hiring actors from the Mission Improbable comedy troupe. And that's it for this edition of Campus News.
We leave you with a look at the whodunit murder mystery.
Thanks for joining us and have a great week.
Campus News is produced by the Television News Workshop in the School of Communication and Journalism at Minnesota State University Moorhead in cooperation with Prairie Public Television.